Over the past few months, the bandwagon hate against Blackpink has gone down significantly, and that's obviously an incredible thing. More and more videos are being uploaded acknowledging the mistreatment of the girls and showing solidarity to them. However, one thing I've noticed that is so recurrent and makes me want to punch myself in the fucking face is that so very few of these videos ever really talk about Jisoo. The huge majority of them focus around Jennie and Rose and Rose, and give a little less about Lisa, which is great of course because they deserve to be talked about. But no one seems to give a fuck about Jisoo. And whenever I bring that up with other blinks, I get attacked with shit like, oh well, Jisoo is like a lead in a drama, or she's an ambassador for whatever fashion brand. Both points that are so easily debunked. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, and what's your point? So in this video, I will be discussing the mistreatment of Kim Jisoo and only that of Kim Jisoo. I'm in no way undermining the struggles the other girls are going through, but I've seen so many channels with huge amounts of subscribers and Twitter accounts with huge amounts of followers discuss Blackpink while alienating Jisoo, and I won't stand for it any longer. So without further ado, let's get into one of the very rare videos that give Jisoo the spotlight she deserves. Now, it's no surprise YG produces extremely talented rappers and some really good dancers, but when it comes to vocalists, they're very lacking in that department. I'm not saying YG vocalists are bad, but they receive very little vocal training. YG leaves his artists to fend for themselves, basically, and lets them rely on natural talent instead of training and vocal skills, which is really bad in the long run. Compared to other companies like SM and Big Hit who provide lots of vocal training, oftentimes classical training which is just on a whole other level, YG does little for his vocalists. That's why I was so surprised when I first listened to Jisoo's voice in live performances. She has a really interesting voice that she knows how to pace when performing, and even though she sometimes breaks notes, she's still really stable most of the time. And I don't mean stable just when dancing, but in general. Jisoo has a naturally low tone compared to the other girls, so it's not really good for her to strain it by trying to reach a higher register. She knows how to use it in moderation. Here are two examples of what I'm talking about. Now try and tell me you didn't get goosebumps listening to her like she can sing, even though it's a higher register than she's supposed to. She has a strong voice and she would be able to showcase it so much more if YG let her sing in tones that suit her more in their title tracks, like tenor, instead of forcing her to have a higher register the way they do with Rosé. There's a difference between her voice in the clip I just played and her voice in songs like Careless Love and D4, where they force her to strain her voice too. You can clearly hear it, especially in D4, the strain that she's putting on her voice to hit higher notes, and that's just so unhealthy for her. If YG is so preoccupied with wanting to have soprano vocalists in Blackpink, I don't understand why he refuses to give them proper vocal training. Of course, it would have been so much better for the girls to have received that training earlier in their career, but it's not too late now, especially when it's damaging their voices and making them unstable in performances. Jisoo has such a beautiful voice when she sings in her natural tone and isn't forced to reach higher notes that she can't reach in the first place, which makes her break off in performances. Here's a few more examples of Jisoo singing in her natural low tone, because we can never appreciate what a queen she is when she sings.
이제 바뀌어졌어 잡아도 소용없어 또 이랬다 저랬다 이러쿵저러쿵 maybe never Goodbye baby 내가 네 곁에 있었을 때 잘하지 왜 Why you wanna go and do that why 손을 뻗지만 그 누구도 날 잡아주질 않네 아마 파란 저 하늘을 원망하진 나 가끔 내려놓고 싶어져 I wanna say goodbye Even when the sky goes falling Even when the sun don't shine I got faith in you and I So put your pretty little hands in mine You could be the lover I'll be the fire babe If I'm the blunt You could be the lighter babe Fire it up baby You could be the good If I'm the lady baby You could be the note Record that
The final thing I want to talk about in regards to her mistreatment as a vocalist is line distributions. So obviously since Blackpink are only 4 members, you would think it's not that hard for each member to get an equal amount of lines. But as lead vocalist, it doesn't matter what type of song it is, Jisoo somehow never receives the proper amount of lines. Teddy or YG or whoever it is that decides which member sings which line is totally ignoring Jisoo's position as lead vocalist and giving lines that she should have to Jennie. I don't mean to demonize Jennie, of course, or blame her in any way since she's not the one who's deciding on that, but it's ridiculous that the main rapper has more singing lines in more songs than the lead singer herself. There's a lot of examples, but I think the most prominent one is Forever Young, a song that is so vocally based, yet everyone gets nearly a minute of lines, while Jisoo barely gets 20 seconds. Like, that's just fucking insane. The first time I listened to it and I was told it's a vocal song and then they would be promoting with it, I was so excited. I was like, yes, Jisoo's finally gonna get an opportunity to show her vocals and her abilities. But then Jennie got all the vocal lines and a rap part and I was so disappointed, but like not that surprised. It seems like Teddy really thinks everyone except Jisoo should be a vocalist, and it really, really, really sucks. Now, as well as a vocalist, Jisoo is also an actress. I don't know how familiar Blinks are with Jisoo's history in the company, but she first auditioned with the intent to become an idol in 2011, and she obviously did really well and became a trainee. However, seeing as she was also having a background in acting and is a visual goddess, YG decided to make her focus more on her acting skills, and she stopped being an idol trainee and instead became an acting trainee. Then in 2014, when Blackpink was in formation, none of the active trainees YG had was able to match Jennie, Lisa, and Rosé and Miyeon, who were the only definitive members at the time. And so Jisoo became an idol trainee again. Now at this point, I think everyone already knows what went down with Miyeon, who's now in another group, so I won't get into the gritty details. It's very safe to say that Jisoo is a professional actor who was trained as an actor for years before joining Blackpink. However, for some god-awful reason, she has had 0 legit acting gigs. The only remotely good gigs she's had was a 5-second cameo in Arthal Chronicles. Like, you could barely notice her. That is not an acting role, despite what a lot of aunties claim and use as an argument to undermine Jisoo even more. And it's not like she's some sort of troll that no one wants to hire. Jisoo has ranked in the top 15 for individual brand reputation rankings of female idols many, many times, getting number 7 on October of 2019. So it's pretty clear that she could easily get any role if YG could get off their ass and promote her correctly. She trained as an actress and as an idol for so long, and she obviously has the abilities, yet she's left to rot in the Blackpink basement with her one Burberry endorsement, while Jennie has fashion spreads and solo shoots and lipstick commercials, and Lisa has solo commercials and Celine endorsements and is a dance mentor for an idol show in China. The only other member who gets promotions just as sucky as Jisoo is Rosé, and that's like nothing to be proud of at all. Ever since Blackpink debuted in 2016, fans did not hesitate to start solo standing. I don't think I need to explain just how harmful solo standing in a group is, especially with so few members and in a fandom so huge with an equally big influence. Blinks have been calling Jisoo the weak link in Blackpink for years, saying she's the worst singer, worst dancer, least charismatic, has no stage presence. In a fandom with the majority of stans being either Jen Lisa solo stans or Rosé solo stans, Jisoo has been left with very few genuine fans of her. Not to mention the bandwagon stans who have started using her as their token girl to hate on the rest of Blackpink. They obviously are not actually here for Jisoo as an idol and as a person. They view her as a means to an end. First of all, during fan events, Jisoo is ignored most of the time. It doesn't matter if the event is in Korea or internationally, she's always overlooked in favor of the other members. Whether it's subtly like spending less time talking to her at a fan sign, or as obvious as completely ignoring her existence. Second of all, online stans, especially on Twitter, are not at all shy when it comes to being antis. Solo stans will take any opportunity to shit on Jisoo and call her a good-for-nothing visual, then attack Jisoo stans for trying to defend her. This fandom division and blatant hatred is so toxic, not just for the members of Blackpink, but for potential new fans and current Blinks who see other stans disrespecting the members and fighting with each other all day long. To conclude this video, I just want to remind everyone that Jisoo has worked just as hard as all the other members, if not harder. She's improved immensely in her dancing and has the best stage presence since Blackpink as of right now. Her voice is beautiful and mesmerizing. She's so funny and charismatic and caring and gorgeous. She deserves recognition as the incredible artist and actress that she is. If after all of this, after this whole video, you're still hell-bent on solo standing and ignoring Jisoo, the very least you can do is be respectful to her, because God knows so many so-called Blinks haven't been.